New information just flipped the whole story. If he isn't the villain people painted him to be, then who set this up? And why did it land right on his front step? I'm going to walk you through what changed, how the internet found connections nobody noticed at first, and the one detail that could break the whole thing open. Listen close, because the part we're saving for later changes how you see every clip you've already watched. It started with a smell no one could ignore. A black car sitting too long in the hills, moved around spots like someone didn't want it noticed, but also couldn't take it far. Neighbors took notice and phoned it in to police. First it gets ticketed, then it gets towed. Nothing wild yet, until the tow yard opens the front trunk and the whole internet gasps at once. That's the moment the story jumps from neighborhood chatter to national headlines. From then on, every post is a clue, every screenshot is a map, and every silence feels loud. The LAPD stepped in fast. This ain't your basic missing person energy anymore. Timelines get built. Phones get pulled. Fans start stitching clips like detectives. People say, hold up, didn't he have shows those days? Wouldn't that be an alibi? And yeah, tour schedules matter. But here's something the internet forgets. An alibi for a moment is not a free pass for the whole puzzle. Investigations don't stop because one piece doesn't fit on day one. They widen the circle. Who else had the keys? Who else lived in the house? Who parked the car where it got seen? He's got a stage name, you know, and a government name most people didn't. Folks look it up, then zoom in on where he's staying. The house? Expensive. The kind with cameras, long driveways, and people coming in and out. And guess what sits not far from that address? That's right, the same model car, left close enough to make even calm people feel weird. Is that sloppy or panicked? If you've ever made a bad decision in a rush, you know how close right there can feel to far enough. But police don't guess, they test. That's why the search warrant matters. You only get that with cause. Not guilt, cause. The raid happens after a name gets confirmed. That timing says a lot. It means they didn't just roll the dice. It means someone put a picture together and said, we think we'll find something at that property. So they go in. They carry out devices, bags. A lot of people assume that means case closed. It doesn't. It means now the hard part begins. Digging through years of chats, photos, logins, cloud saves, deletes that aren't really gone, and little pieces that line up like breadcrumbs. Meanwhile, the internet goes deeper than ever. Old posts show up. Fans say the first contact might have been in kid games, then moved to group chats, then on to DMs. People share screenshots with names blurred and faces turned, and that's where the pattern talk starts. They point to social media posts and backstage clips that look playful then, but feel heavy now when you watch them with new context. Is every clip what people think it is? Maybe, maybe not. But the volume is wild. And when clips keep piling up, people stop arguing about if there's a connection and start arguing about what kind of connection it was. Then the music theories hit. You've seen them. Leaked demo titles. Lyrics folks say feel too close to real life. Fans pull dates and go, wait, why is this release on this birthday? Why line this up with that? Coincidence happens, sure, but when timing looks personal, the timeline feels different. Is it proof in court? No. Is it fuel online? Absolutely. And once brands see smoke, they grab the fire extinguisher. Campaigns pause. Collaborations get reevaluated. Tours go dark. Public statements say, we're monitoring, while phones behind the scenes don't stop buzzing. That's not a verdict, that's business. But business moves are what shape public mood. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. The family side. People are hurting, and the internet is messy when it tries to help. Randoms DM relatives, hunting for answers they're not owed, adding pressure to the people who lost the most. That's where I'm drawing a line today. We can talk evidence, timelines, and industry shifts without poking people who are grieving. Keep it human. Now the big legal wall. Cause of death not finalized, manner of death not confirmed. And that means prosecutors aren't going to run in and slap the biggest charge because a comment section is hot. High-profile cases move slow on purpose. You only get one clean shot. Rush it and you lose it. So while fans scream, "Why no arrest?" attorneys whisper, "Chain of custody, forensics, jurisdiction, interstate movement, digital warrants, expert reports." It's not TikTok speed, it's courtroom speed. So what actually changed? The new angle is simple but huge. The idea that the place searched might hold evidence about what happened without making the person living there the person who did it. Sounds technical. It is, but it matters because the question flips from "is he the one?" to "who had access and why did it land right here?" That's a big shift, and it cracks the door open to something everyone missed. If access was wide, motive matters more. Who benefits from pointing eyes at him? Who panicked enough to drop a car basically in his front yard? Who knew the camera angles, the schedules, the habits? Remember that tattoo thread we opened? People keep arguing about color. It sounds tiny. It's not. If the color in one clip doesn't match what someone swore it should be, either the footage is bad, the lighting's off, or there's something we don't know yet about when and where certain images were taken. If that little detail breaks, other pieces move with it. That's why you don't lock a story on day 2. The smallest mismatch can blow up the best theory. Here's something most folks overlook. Digital forensics is petty. Petty in a good way. Timestamps, device IDs, router logs, location pings, old backups you forgot existed. Those things don't care about clout. They tell on everybody. If someone tried to wipe a phone, there's a shadow somewhere. If a car moved through a gate, there's likely a record. If a message got deleted, databases remember. That's why the quiet weeks after a raid are loud behind the scenes. Someone's building a clock, minute by minute, move by move. Industry fallout has its own clock. When a brand leaves, another pauses. When a collaborator pulls a track, a manager pulls a calendar. People read those moves like a guilty stamp. Not always. Sometimes it's pure PR survival. Nobody wants to be the last company holding a bag when the story breaks the wrong way. So they freeze. They wait for paperwork, not posts. But the freeze creates a new wave. Fans get louder, critics get meaner. In the middle, people who might wait get pulled to one side by the noise. Here's the curveball. If he didn't do what people think, why was everything pointing at him so perfectly? The car, the distance to the house, the songs people say connect, the lives, the photos, the follows. That combo could be what it looks like. Or it could be someone counting on us to think exactly that. If you've ever watched a mystery, you know how it works. Give the audience the neat answer first, then yank it away at the end. Real life isn't a movie, but attention works the same. We love a tidy villain. We hate late corrections. That bias decides who trends and who gets buried. And that's why the FBI angle matters. Because when federal folks step in, they aren't chasing trending sounds. They chase devices crossing lines, money moving weird, and people moving with them. If there's a reason this got bigger than a city case, it's usually because wires crossed states or tech platforms needed federal paper to unlock. That's where answers hide. The little numbers we never see under the posts we share. Payoff time on that tattoo loop. If the color that identified a hand in early chatter turns out not to match in a critical clip, we're left with two choices. 1, the image is bad and people saw what they wanted. 2, the person in that angle isn't who everyone assumed. Either way, the internet learning moment is the same. Slow down. Let the lab speak. Because if that small thing is off, the bigger story might be built on a shaky base. Here's the next curiosity loop we can't close yet. Access. How many people had the car fob? Who parked where? On which night? Using which device to request a ride or open a gate? If even one other person's device shows up near that car at key times, the whole puzzle rearranges. That's the update we're waiting for, even if nobody says it out loud. Not a statement, a ping. Fans are split. Some say the pattern is too loud to ignore. Others say the timing and the setup feel planted. Both sides are loud because both sides see real dots. That's why this story holds people, because it touches fear, loyalty, and the way online fame turns real life into a puzzle people think they have the right to solve. We don't, but we do have the right to ask better questions while we wait for the part that actually counts in court. And if the evidence lands back on him after all this, then we sit with that too, because justice isn't about picking a side early. It's about ending on the right one. That's the part social media gets wrong every time. Here's where the internet gets even louder. After the raid, movers show up, boxes go out, and everybody says, that's it, game over. But moving out after a raid doesn't answer the question why. Panic, legal advice, optics, any of those can be true at once. That's the tricky part. Online, we want one reason, one label, one villain. Real life serves them in stacks. Meanwhile, talk turns to the inner circle. Bodyguards, managers, friends. People ask what they knew and when. Some say they thought a girl was older than she was. Some say fake IDs fooled them. That might be real. It might be spin. Either way, it shows how talent bubbles work. A famous person pulls a crowd, and the crowd becomes cover. That fog makes everything harder to see. Fans pull up old clips where he reposted edgy stuff. On a normal day, nobody blinks. After a tragedy, every caption reads like a clue. That's how context works. It strips jokes of their timing and gives them a darker heartbeat. Is that fair? Maybe not. But it's human. We search for patterns when we're scared. The label goes quiet. The team stops pushing. Shows pause one by one until the calendar is empty. People who bought tickets are mad. People who wanted answers are madder. And still, no new official statement explains anything beyond "we're cooperating." You know why? Because once lawyers are in, words become evidence. Silence feels evil, but sometimes silence is just strategy. Let's talk about the car's weird dance through the hills. Neighbors said it moved, not far, just enough. That tells a story all by itself. Moving a car like that isn't a plan. It's fear. It says no safe exit, no solid plan B, just one bad decision balancing on another. That kind of wobble is how real cases look before they get clean lines and exhibits. And about the idea that someone might be framing him, people roll their eyes, but ask yourself, if you wanted a story to land on a famous name, what would you do differently than what happened? You'd use his car, stay close to his house, let the neighborhood do the rest. You don't need a genius plan when algorithms love chaos. You just need proximity and silence. The internet writes the accusations for you. But here's the pressure point that won't go away. The digital link between them that fans swear was obvious long before this. Screenshots, streams, photos with faces turned away. The tattoo everyone can't stop mentioning. If even half of that holds steady under real forensic eyes, it narrows the story, not because public opinion says so, but because devices don't lie. Back to that tattoo debate for a beat. If a small color detail feels off in one angle, the smart move isn't to scream fake. It's to push for the raw file, the original metadata, the chain of where the image came from, and who edited it along the way. Compression changes colors, filters change tones, but metadata tells you what changed and when. That's why agents care about originals, not reposts. Another thing, people keep asking why there isn't an arrest if the internet already solved it. Because solved online isn't solved in court. You need cause, manner, time, access, and a chain that reads like a smooth line, not a jagged guess. If forensic results come back with certainty, the whole mood changes overnight. If they don't, it stays a swirl. Let's clear up the search equals suspect myth. That quote you've heard floating around is real police logic. Searching a place means they think evidence might be there. It doesn't stamp guilt on the person living inside. It stamps interest on the location. If the team believed the house held answers, that's about the four walls, not just the man who rented a room in them. You want a real tell? Watch for the federal piece. If it's in, they're following data trails across state lines, not just city streets. That means platform requests, IP addresses, travel logs, maybe even vehicle data if the system allows it. When those threads braid together, someone's story stops making sense, and that's when arrests happen. Not before. We also need to talk about how quick the community turned. At first, a lot of people defended him, talked about his come up, the humble vibe, the DIY music grind, the family-friendly image. Then new details hit, and the energy flipped. That says something about how fragile fan love is. It's loud until the story gets heavy. Then everybody looks for the nearest exit. That's not proof either way. It's just a reminder that popularity won't save you if the receipts land wrong. If you're still here, you're not just doom scrolling. You want the truth. Here's the uncomfortable truth we can say without guessing. Someone moved that car. Someone knew where to leave it. Someone hoped the people online would do the rest. And they were right. We did. We turned it into a circus. We do this every time. So to the question, is he the one? The most honest answer right now is, we don't know yet. We know there's a link between worlds. We know business partners backed away fast. We know a house got searched near a car that should have never been anywhere near that house. We know timelines look bad even when diaries look clean. And we know that the smallest detail, like the color of ink on a finger, can wreck a theory everyone swore was solid. Here's the piece I can't shake. If digital forensics shows someone else's device waking that car, opening that gate, or crossing that street at the right hour, the whole story kicks in a new direction. If it shows his device doing it, people who defended will go quiet. If it shows both, then we're looking at a team, not a lone actor. And that would explain the sloppiness. Panic moves in packs. Until then, protect your heart a little. Don't fall in love with a theory. Fall in love with the boring parts, the logs, the lab notes, the things that never go viral because they don't fit a sound. That's where real answers hide. I'll say this again because some of y'all need it. Leave the family alone. Being first with bad manners isn't journalism. It's cruelty. If you're angry, be angry at the system that makes this kind of case so easy to talk about and so hard to prove. We'll keep watching the only updates that matter. Court papers, lab sheets, official releases. And if the next move is nothing for a while, that doesn't mean the case died. It means someone is quietly building something that won't fall apart later. That's how real wins happen. So drop your thoughts, but bring logic, not just heat. If you're rocking with me because I don't spin fairy tales, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and turn on that bell notification. When the truth lands, you'll hear it here first.